We can fix that later.
Yeah, we definitely need to fix that. Welcome everyone to the 53rd edition of the Home Theater Hub. As you can see, we have our special guest, Ahmad, aka Ray. How's it going, Ray? How are you doing today?
Pretty good, me. Pretty good. Thanks for having
I
me.
hope I hope you said your friends call you Ray. I know we're just met, but I feel like we're friends already with this home
No,
studio
yeah,
behind you.
and it's much easier to say Ray than Imad because half of the time people don't get it right and they forget. So that's what people on the forum, etc., know me by. So happy for you guys to call me Ray. No problem.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And of course, we got our headband brother, Mr. Paul. What's going on, sir?
Hey, I'm about ready to crack a brew. It's brews and views time.
What flavor of fruit do we have this time?
It's officially winter. As you can tell, I'm wearing a headband. So
got a headband.
We're not doing.
It's supposed to get to 40 degrees in South Florida.
Yeah. So we got the new koozie that I made.
Oh,
nice.
Into that, and
is that 3D printed?
Yes, and then the
I see a mountain on the can.
Yeah, this is actually military
call sign.
The owner, and yeah, I'm sure this place went crazy whenever.
Yeah, I see it has a call sign to it.
Yeah, it's literally a Air Force inspired brewery, and this is just a stout. So
wow. So what are the properties of the koozie? Does it actually work as a koozie, or is it just plastic?
Yeah. I mean it's thick, just like any other foam koozie thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was made from your 3D printer?
I'll have some custom made with the logo, one of these days.
Did you put the R where that Kansas City? Did you put the little trademark thing on there?
No, I didn't trademark it. This one's not for sale. This is for personal use only. So
I gotcha. I'm just messing with you there, Paul.
Yeah. No,
so are your ears cold? Is that why we're going with the headband today?
All my heat escapes. Yeah. If I keep my ears warm, I'm fine. But man, if I don't keep my ears, because I just get really cold. Now I will show you, just to stick with the 3D printed theme.
I got too many jokes about grabbing you by the ears right now.
Check this out.
Don't go there.
What do you think of that 3D printed?
There we go.
Wow,
nice.
Yeah, that's Jessica. In case you don't remember what she looked like.
Of course.
So, how cool is that?
You're gonna paint it?
No, actually, her idea was I'm gonna make one of me and then cut the back off and make them book stands.
There we go.
I think that's hilarious. I was like, that's ingenious.
Yep. I mean, you might break the machine trying to print your.
Yeah,
face,
I know, right?
It's part of.
It's gonna be like the ego's too big. I can't handle it.
Part of the risk you take. So.
Yeah, 300 millimeters, not big enough.
Oh man, that's too funny. What's going on, Ike? How was your week, sir?
Busy. Probably not as busy as yours, but it's been a good week.
Yeah. So last Tuesday, I had to test for the state for to be able to apply pesticides and I can actually be a business owner and everything else. And this week I'm going through fumigant school. So it's man, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. And plus it's a 7 o'clock to about 6 o'clock in the evening school, 5 days a week, and then I got to come home and do my regular job plus study for the test. So I may not be on long tonight because we have I have a practice test tomorrow, and then Saturday I'm actually sitting for the exam. So, and I took about 50 questions of a practice test yesterday. I mean, just about right before we got on, about 10 minutes ago, and I wasn't performing to my liking. So, I only need a 75 to pass. You know what they say. the doctor's degree that hangs on the wall at the doctor's office. It doesn't tell you if they barely passed or they're a scholar, right? So
nobody cares at that point.
Yep,
so yeah, I just want to pass my first time. So I want to study, and I do kind of take pride in it. I got a 97 on my general pest control. So, I want to do as best as I can on it so that I'm especially on something like this that can actually harm people, when you're talking about fumigants and stuff like that. So,
I thought you meant the pests, man.
Pests can harm people too.
Squash the bits, man. Pests.
So, Mr. Ray, what's going on with you? We see this Expert Sound Pro here. What's going on with that?
Yeah, man. Obviously I am an accountant by degree, so I have a job, full-time job. But just, over the years, I've realized obviously I'm not part of the industry per se, but as I sort of was learning and researching myself, I just found a lot of misinformation out on the web, and as you have more and more people having their own avenues, right, to put content out, the downside of that is that it all can also lead to misinformation. And I had pretty much done a lot for my friends, and I did my room several times, calibrated it, sounded really, really good for people that have come through. And they said, why don't you start doing this right on the side? Just help people out, maybe you'll make some money as well. Why don't you just do this and offer services? And I'd seen some other folks as well, some renowned folks. And I sat through anonymously through one of the calibrations, and I said, even there, some of the end users sort of don't know what's being done to their system. And I have some principles. For example, I'll not use more than 10 filters. If, it doesn't matter. We'll look at placement. We'll work with other things. But, using 15, 20 filters just to get a smooth line, that's not my take. Anyway, people can do it however they want. So when I saw stuff like that, I said, I'm going to just start offering my services. If I'll talk to folks first. I was just telling Ike before we came on live, is the first part I do is have a consultation, right? No cost to anybody, no obligation. It's just a consult, just to understand, what are they looking for? What are they got going in their room? Just understand their equipment, their expectations, the knowledge level, their gear, and then we'll say, what they can realistically get out of it. So I do spend some time just getting to know the folks and their system, their room, and themselves, right? So that's what sort of prompted this, Don. That I just wanted to kind of share sort of the joy that I've had learning this and putting this to test in my room. And I do a lot of demos pretty much every weekend. I have people coming through asking for demos. I've got a pretty good system, and then I've obviously spent some time calibrating it myself. So that's how what got me into this, Don. And I'm looking forward to kind of talking to even, and we'll talk to Ike as well and see what he's looking for, etc.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your experience with this. I know you said you're a calibrator, but how long have you been in this space or in this hobby? What brought you here, and how long ago did you start?
So home theater journey started maybe about, I'd say, 15, 16 years ago in seriousness. I mean, I always had a 5.1 system, but in all seriousness, kind of just understanding and moving up to a level where you would say, I had a respectable system, which really, really intense performance, was about 15 years ago. And, there's, as I said, I spent a lot of time just kind of understanding sort of I'm an audio first person, by the way. Not video is important, but it's not as important as audio. I can sit through a very crappy movie if the audio is good, but not the other way around. Yeah. And so I spent some time just learning and listening, to a lot of the knowledgeable folks to understand sort of the dynamics of sound and what makes a good sound, and how do subwoofers work and wavelengths work, and how does room construction influence sound, how does acoustic treatments influence sound. So and then it's, sometimes, certain things you have a knack for it, right? You understand it. It makes sense to you. It appeals to you. And if you have a passion, I think if you have a passion for something, I think you can learn it really fast as well. So, 15 years is when I got into this, head first. And then from a calibration standpoint, maybe for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been sort of doing it casually just for buddies, friends, people asking for help. But last year, towards the end of last year, I said, I actually got laid off from my company last year. So I had excess time on my hands, and my wife was like, why don't you put your passion, your skills to use, and it'll have some side income, keep you busy. It's not doing good for your mental health as well. So that's what really was pushed me over to kind of start doing this in earnest.
So when you're doing a remote calibration, do you also do in-person calibration too, or no?
Yeah, it depends where the person is located, what they're looking for. Again, that's comes down from the consultation, right, to really understand what they're trying to achieve and the goals.
And we're talking, just to clarify, we're talking about an audio calibration, not a video calibration, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But audio, not just subwoofers, it's the entirety
you do the whole system, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And you probably don't mind sharing this, but you are in the Houston, Texas area, right? So
yes.
Just in case
I'm based in
anyone
Houston
is local.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what tools are you using when you're doing a calibration?
So primarily, if it's a remote calibration, obviously use something like a TeamViewer, etc., to dial in, connect to the person's AVR laptop, etc. But primarily, it's a mini DSP REW, and then using those tools to really understand not just the calibration part of it, but to me, the speaker side of it, where you're sort of making sure that you're not just having the subwoofers calibrated, but how they interact with the mains, the subs to main integration, and then the impulse responses of the speakers themselves, right, and the subs. But it's primarily mini DSP REW to do the tuning.
So when you're calibrating, are you looking for like a Harman curve? Are you looking for what the room's allowing it to do? What is your target for when you're calibrating?
So I think there's two things I believe in, right? One is calibrating to reference, and one is calibrating for preference, right? And I think you have to. Sometimes I've found that you could calibrate to reference, but the person who's sitting, whose room that is, they don't like it, right? So I think you have to kind of understand what is that person looking for? What are they missing currently? You obviously can look at the graphs and the data that's available to you to see what they're actually listening, what they're listening to, and why certain things may be missing for them, and what they want to achieve. To me, the amount of firepower I have in my room is a pretty small room. It's only about 2,000 square feet, just over 2,000 square feet, cubic feet, not square feet, cubic feet. And I found that sometimes, a rising curve, like a Harman curve, in my room, actually, sometimes depending on the content, it doesn't sound that good. So I've got different configurations saved depending on the content. I sometimes use BEQ as well, but I think it all comes down to a person's liking preferences. A flat curve is not always the best curve. It just depends on the capability of your equipment and what your own preferences are. So I think that's something you flush out in the conversation. And then you also understand, as I said, room construction is really, really important. The dimensions of the room will dictate, so some room modes, and you understand, if it's a certain length and dimension, you will have certain modes at certain frequencies and where they're sitting. You talk about, their ability to move the seating, ability to move the speakers, subs around, etc., before you even get into the calibration part. Right. But to me, it's more about just understanding where they and when you're talking to your client, you get an understanding about their own knowledge level and what they've tried and not worked in the past. So you really learn about what has worked for them, what's not worked for them, what they're looking to do differently.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's important because you do say calibrate to reference. You definitely need to know what type of equipment that you're working with, because some of the speakers can't reach reference, and if you're calibrating the reference, you're going to cause a lot of distortion and discomfort, right? So, like you said, it's very important to know what equipment and what
the capability is of that equipment.
What are the capabilities, and even the room type, right? I mean, are they in an open? Are they in an open concept room? Are they in a enclosed room, a dedicated room? So
Yeah, and if it's
Yeah.
on concrete, are they on a suspended floor? I mean, do they have concrete walls? I mean, all of that kind of factors into how the sound ultimately will, what it feels like. And then, how loud do they listen? I mean, do they not ever go over like -20, right? And a lot of people do, right? So you take into account all those things, and to me, room probably is number one, and then probably equipment, and then understanding their choices, their preferences as well. But room is probably the most overlooked thing to understand. Sort of what can you achieve with what you got.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Paul, do you have any interjection on that?
No, I haven't heard anything that's
Paul's the resident expert.
so, it's that it is what it is.
Yeah.
Others like to, make it seem more, and I mean, there are, possibly some things that sure, if you go to the upper echelon of, audio, that are, capable with different things, but it, in those realms, I don't believe people should be charging thousands and thousands of dollars. That's
Absolutely.
more, a music hall. Sure. If there's a $20 million orchestra coming through, yeah, okay, I'm not charging, $500 to EQ a friggin' music hall. It's like, yeah, you're paying me hundreds of thousands, to, do all that. But that's also hours and multiple people, not just one person. But I see all these, people, and even just a theater that's 40 by 60 foot. And it's like, oh yeah, I can calibrate your theater for, 30 grand. And it's like, what magic do you think is happening over the auto EQ? Sure, EQing and understanding, and like you said, rooms, big thing. The hardest part is like informing the consumer.
Yes.
But people that come in that just want to, take money, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you have a business and I get that, but just, whenever people say, oh, you have to spend this much money, it's not magic. It does take time and understanding to learn it, but it's not, $100,000 worth of happenings here, That's
and I think that's Paul. I was saying, I think it's so important to have that conversation up front, just to align expectations of what they can, what you can realistically get out of this. And for most people, if you even get 75 to 80% there, I think it's going to sound phenomenally well, because most of the time you'll find that people maybe have a decent room, decent equipment, but it's just thrown in there, right? Because they just didn't have the knowledge, or nobody told them any better. And just making incremental improvements by, moving things slightly around, giving them, telling them how to how to calibrate things in order. I think that also sort of helps out. But I think you have to build that trust. You shouldn't. Nobody should feel like I got a really crappy deal out of this, and that guy didn't. And that's why I would say, if I end up in a conversation where I think I really can't help that person, then so be it. I'll refer them to somebody else who might be able to. No harm done.
That's
so.
We're
all
learning. You do DRAC and and the different flavors out there.
Yeah, like I was saying, for example, if I get into something that I've not come across, for example, I've not done a trim-off, for example, and I don't want to say to somebody who owns a trim-off, spend that kind of money to put a mini DSP on top of it, right? Just because that will allow me the ability to kind of tune their system. I would probably say get somebody who is knowledgeable, is certified, maybe in a trim-off calibration, and go that way, because you want to get the max performance for the money you spend on your equipment, right? And that I truly believe that, and I will pass that on to a buddy of mine who does that. and turn off calibration. He's certified in it, level 1, level 2. So that's how I operate.
So are you familiar with all the other, with ARC, with Dirac, Odyssey? Are you familiar with all those?
I am.
Perfect.
90% of the time it's some Odyssey based AVR or processor that's coming through, followed by ARC and Dirac. They're kind of about the same, but 90% of the time it's probably Odyssey based. But yes, I am familiar with those.
Have you dealt with Room Perfect at all?
No, not Room Perfect.
Very good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you got behind you. Well, first of all, let's talk about let's go into the weeds here. What are we looking at for a price for something like this, for a remote calibration? Is it based on the number of speakers? Is it based on number of subwoofers?
Yeah. So we'll obviously flesh that out when we have the consultation. Right, that give me an idea about how much time this might take. But nominally, I would tell them it's $50 an hour. Usually, most calibrations maybe 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, maybe at best, maybe 4. But if I run into problems, then obviously we'll have to have that conversation, because I don't want to go in there with the impression and tell them it's a 3 to 4 hour job, and it's going to tell me it ends up being 10 hours. But now the understanding the equipment, what they have, how many speakers they have, that'll give me an idea. But I usually, it's usually ends up being around $200 to $300 at the most.
Okay, not bad. Yeah, that's very, very affordable compared to some of the others that I've spoken with. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what is your position whenever someone comes and they really need room treatment? Like, sure, you could do a calibration, but they're in I'm just making stuff up for exaggeration, they're in an all glass room, right?
Yeah.
Sure, you can calibrate some stuff, but man, you're gonna do more
really
work
wrestling with it.
Yeah, you're gonna do more damage than good, in
I
that
agree.
scenario. It's like, do you then charge them a consultation fee, or do you just let them say, hey, this is what you need, do this, and then come back to me, and then we can calibrate from there? Or how do you handle that? Because your time is money, and it's great that you're doing a free consultation, but also the business side of me is like, hey,
I'm spending time. Yeah,
I'm spending an hour instructing you and teaching you and informing you. Maybe you didn't watch an RT60 decay time video and what that does to your audio,
you told me to go do that too, Paul. I was like,
he was like, no, I was like, I'm halfway out the door already.
I left my math degree way back. I'm not even going to start doing any of that right now.
And the thing is, it sounds like super complicated, but all that really is okay, here's a measure of sound at whatever reference it is, whatever level you play it at, let's say 80 dB. Okay, how long does it take for that sound before it's at 60 dB that or less? So how long does it take for that sound to drop down to 60 dB from 80, right? Or 60 dB lower? I mean, like, how long does it take? That's all it is. It sounds, and you don't always do RT60. In small, tiny rooms, RT60, there's just no way. I mean, if you can't decay sound that's in a 4x4 room that quick. I mean, you could, but then you're anechoic at that point almost.
It'll be 3x2 at that point.
Yeah. After you do exactly. It's so there's different needs and demands, and like you said, if you're talking to the customer and getting their understanding and understand their room and all this stuff, that takes a lot of time. And like I said,
I think Paul, I think it's a good question. It's a good question. So the consultation really is for me to kind of understand what they have, right? Now, if it goes into a point where I feel that, look, it's going to be, if I make some recommendations and I start going towards putting something together for them, then I probably will have the conversation to look. I mean, if you want me to design an acoustic plan for you, that's a service, right? Now, but the consultation really is for me to kind of just understand what they have, right, in their room, especially because remotely, that's the challenge, right? You have to kind of understand what they have, capability of this, like I said earlier, capability of equipment. Do they have treatments? Do they, and what's their level of knowledge as well? Because then I'll have that conversation accordingly, right? If they have a baseline knowledge, then I can sort of have dig a bit deeper. And if somebody is absolutely, first time hearing what a calibration is, then it's a different conversation. But it's not a consultation to really design something for them and just give it away.
So the consultation's more of a customer.
Tell me
profile.
what you got. Yeah.
Tell me what you got. What you can can expect.
And then a little bit of, okay, what are you trying to get out of it?
Right.
Then,
exactly.
It's like, okay, well, to go any further, it's like, look, this is hours of conversation for me to. Okay, that's fair.
And you can show it through the, they do the calibration and they insist on that, let's do the calibration first and let's see how much improvement again. You can show it through the measurements, the need for treatments, and every room can benefit from treatments, and how much absorption, how much diffusion. Once you get starting to get into the design of it, right? Then that becomes a service. Yeah, at that point.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that they're not expecting their sound bar to sound like a JTR or
right. That's what I said. Expectations, right?
Why not
manage the expectations for sure.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So with what you talked about using mini DSP for the processors and the AVRs that have the 4 sub outs already, are you're not worried about mini DSP on that if that's what they already have, correct?
Yeah, it also depends, how many subwoofers they have, right? If they still have 8, 10 subwoofers, I think they'll still benefit from a mini DSP. If they're wanting to do like BEQ, right, they'll still benefit from a mini DSP. If they have tactile transducers as well, they'll benefit from a mini DSP. So it just depends. Again, if they have just 4 subwoofers, they probably don't need a mini DSP if they don't intend to add anything further down the road. But I just love that device because it just opens up a lot of possibilities and things that you cannot do, through the AVR. It's, to me, there's so much power in there.
So the question I have for Ike is, I received some text messages that I didn't have a chance to look at this week because, as I told you, I was super busy. But why didn't you send these graphs to Ray instead of me?
I didn't want to get him uncomfortable before the show, right? And it's like, oh man, it's like I'm here for a home theater tour, and now I'm like, but I told him, in the green room that I ran ACK and I wasn't liking what I was hearing, and I just recently added some GIK combo panels and things like that. So there's either some kind of delay or something, and I'm like, okay, I need to get this professionally looked at. I can do the basics, but I don't enjoy it, right? Like you guys probably do. So I can grind my teeth to try to figure it out, but I don't want to have to do that. So
you can actually see my microphone stand, my UMIC kind of sitting in the back. It's always in the room.
It's like all those calibrations.
I have mine within an arm's length.
Yeah, you're not gonna find me doing that. Like, look, I would have to wake up one day and my sound just goes down the drain for me to be like, okay, where's my UMIC? And then I start searching all the drawers in here. So guess what I did? Now I just put it down here, one simple place where I can find it, because I'm always looking for my mic, looking for my USB cables. So yeah, I don't enjoy it. I don't know how people enjoy it, but I don't claim to be an expert, so that helps me too.
So Prince, not Margaret. Prince,
I know, right?
Prince asked, do you do remote calibrations for people outside of the U.S.?
Yeah,
it's remote.
It doesn't matter.
Remote,
you
so it may be late for him. Would I guess it would be your morning.
Yeah, in China,
yeah,
right?
that would be the question. Yeah, it's like Do you stay up late for your calibrations? That's the real question.
Yeah, we'll have to find a time that works for both of us. So yeah, when it's remote, right? Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah. I think Prince is in China based on
Yeah,
his
it said he was
message.
in China. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but speaking of rooms, I got a little update for mine. I'm actually going to take you guys in there real quick. I'm going to steal your thunder here, Ray,
Yeah,
for
go for
1
it.
second, because I think all the jokes are going to stop very soon.
Nah, we're just gonna move to the next one.
Oh, come on. I don't believe it.
I predict paint jokes.
You know,
coming.
you know what I feel
can
like?
see paint jokes.
You know what's really happening here? This is AI drywall. He's gonna have a camera with AI generated drywall on the studs. Like, look, it's really there. And then we're gonna see a little glitchy, like, oh wait, is that a stud poking out there?
I guess he's gonna connect from his phone. Let me add you in.
Yeah.
And then I guess I gotta mute the other one.
Remove his other one here. Our center
stage.
stage.
And then I can center stage this one. I mean, your ugly face, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to turn it around here.
Yeah, hit the camera and flip it. You should be able to switch to the right camera. Well, at least point to the drywall instead of pointing to your face.
I mean,
it's not letting me turn it around.
Have pretty macho hair going on.
You should be able to turn it around. I know Ray did that.
I'm pressing it and it's not. It's remove stage, edit names, stop
Camera.
Oh, so you have to change you got to go to settings and then change the
Go to settings and change the camera. Flip
since
it.
you're an admin, and then change the back camera, front camera.
There we go.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's.
And then you can just rotate your camera. Oh man.
It
reconnects. Now you put it on my own face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do it. I thought Ecam was a problem, but I guess this one also has same symptoms.
Yeah, on the camera. Well, I don't know. That could also have been a Don thing. Just saying.
He's not handy with the tech, right?
There it is. There
you got it. Oh, look at that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks complete.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, we got drywall after 6 years. Wow.
So I'm assuming you're going to put wood on the door frame, or I mean, like trim on the door frame there instead of.
So I'm actually just going to put another solid core door there.
Oh, okay. You're putting another door there. Okay. Some people will do like a thick, wood frame.
Yeah, but it's going to be hidden by a panel, so you're not going to know that it's there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Look, Don, you're already getting congratulations, man. It's only drywall. Wow. It's going to be a big party.
I just got to cut.
Okay. What's the little cutout over there? What's that?
Speaker, right?
That's for the first set of side surrounds.
Oh, okay. Oh, and your second. Oh, so obviously
second set of side surrounds.
Multiple rows.
Yep. Okay. So I gotta cut out the wides. So both wides are going to go. One's going right by the door, and then but yeah, that's going to be the screen up there.
Nice.
Got the rear back here. I know I'm shining you right into the light, but and then we got the 6 Atmos speakers already predetermined. So yeah.
Nice. So drywall check. That's step 1. All right.
Yes.
Now you got another 6 months to pick the color, the shade of black.
I've been working on that too. So what I think I'm going to do, I kind of maybe had a change of heart. I don't know. So the windows is about a 2.5 foot reveal. So I'll probably just go a little bit above that. But I'm probably going to paint the whole entire wall like a cream color, like my seats. And then literally I'll have a panel that goes about a foot above this window.
And just closes it.
And about a foot down below the window. And that will be black with my LEDs in it. So that way I have kind of like a
Yeah.
contrast. So the ceiling will be black. The top above the window will be like a tan color, and then black fabric, and then tan on the bottom too.
Nice.
So a creamish color on the bottom. So I'm messing around on the design with that still, but yeah. So yeah, we made some progress finally. So no more drywall jokes. So a big middle finger to you, Paul, and everyone else. No, just
Ah, ah,
so I'm gonna go back now.
It looks nice.
that's good for you, Paul.
I heard all
You're
that.
such a hater. You're not even at your seat.
I heard it all. Yeah. I had to take care of something. That's funny.
Ah,
You know,
that's-
hey, he has the right now. It's
you've earned the
but-
drywall rights.
we can start making fun of Miguel now because we replaced the fuse of his Yamaha. It didn't fix it, right?
Oh,
But he thought he didn't have power, and he's visually or sight impaired. I don't know what the proper term. Technically, he's blind. Like literally, that's he uses a cane to walk around and stuff. But he watches movies and stuff, so he sees whatever. I don't know how the experience is. I'm blind without my glasses, so I can guess how he sees it. But he still watches movies and does music. But after we fixed the fuse, I guess the Yamaha protected itself, and it like when it blew the fuse, it just wiped out the firmware on it. So really all I had to do was download. He called Yamaha for support, and they told him, oh, you just put a USB stick in there.
oh, nice.
And now his system's back up and working. So now he doesn't have any excuses anymore. Whatever he's deciding to do with his theater, the time is clicking, you know?
Yeah, I can catch back up now. So.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like, man, if Don beats you, that's bad.
So John, he asked the AC event above the projector. So what that is that's an AC Infinity exhaust fan. So I installed that to be sucked out. Any of the hot air will be sucked out, and it'll actually, since I'm in a 2-story, it'll just be shot in between the two
Is it gonna
floors.
suck you up there? All the hot air?
It's pretty strong. I mean, it's
all the hot air coming out.
Yeah, all the hot air
of you,
coming
it'll
out.
probably suck you all the way up.
Exactly.
Where are you going to
Yeah.
vent that, John? Don, because I have that in my equipment room. Where are you going to vent it? In the attic
So
or outside?
unfortunately, no. So unfortunately, I'm on the first floor.
Oh, okay.
And so it's good. It's just going to dissipate between the two floors.
Got it.
So I'm not drilling a special hole in the wall just to vent it outside and all that stuff. The amount of heat's not going to be
Yeah,
that
it's not going to be
significant,
that crazy.
you know.
Yeah.
So how do you manage sound loss through that?
So I mean,
it's just a
it
trade-off.
has the mufflers on them so one on each side of each of the device, so that AC Infinity has it. When you crank it up, it does. You can hear it, but I don't anticipate cranking it up to 10 where I can actually start to hear it. You know,
Yeah, because my theater gets really warm, and also this room that I'm in, which is the irony, right? Because I always turn the AC on and then use a blanket even though it gets hot. But
Is it
I've
a
been
metal
thinking
vent?
of doing
no, it's
just
flex
like
ducts.
exhaust.
Okay,
It's
so
flex.
it's got insulation around it already,
Mhm.
absorbing the sound. Yeah. If you have metal ducts, you have to use there's a sound deadening spray that you can
Yep.
spray.
That you
on.
can spray around, right?
And that works for
Yeah,
even
and plus it was like a 25-foot hose, so I
Mhm.
ran it in like diagonals to try to dissipate some of the stuff
Yeah.
too.
that
So,
works. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have an access panel, right next to it. So if something ever happens, all I got to do is literally cut the tape and unscrew a couple screws, and I can pull
And
that
get it
whole
out.
panel down right next to it. So, but yeah, it's the new projectors are actually vented front to back.
So
you know,
you
the
pull
the newer JVCs, but the
Yeah.
older ones are vented back to
the
front.
front, so it
Yeah.
pumps that heat into your room. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
mine is even more different. The Epsons are vented left to right.
Oh,
They have
really?
a circle. Like
Okay.
it comes in on this side, it goes around the the bulb or system, and then comes out the other side.
Oh, okay.
So there's AC Infinity. So Prince asked, what do you do for silencing the ducts? AC Infinity makes something like it's called a muffler, and it actually works. It's got like, it looks like a muffler, and it's got foam inside of it, kind of like the almost like the eggshell foam inside of it, and it works really well. I tried it both on and off. So that one's a chocolate porter.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I could definitely hear a difference, and now that everything's closed up, it's definitely a lot less decibels coming out, and I actually insulate it around the whole entire fan. Like I stuffed as much insulation around the fan that I could to try to isolate the sound too, because when you do crank it up on 10, it could be pretty loud. It's made for grow rooms is what they use this duct work for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, you have a link to that? Well, I'll get it from you later, from the one
yeah.
you used.
Yeah.
'Cause I need to. Yeah, my room gets pretty warm, man.
So I bought two
get
of
a
them. I'm going to
solution.
install another one in the equipment because my equipment's going underneath of the steps.
The steps.
Yeah, so I bought another one to install in the room, because in the equipment room, because I'd imagine it's going to get hot in there.
Yeah,
so.
it'll probably help if I take my equipment out of the room. But I'm not running 50 watt. Like, I'm not rerunning my speaker cables, man. Like,
Yeah.
I love this hobby, but not that much.
Well, you probably didn't install Smurf tube, so I installed Smurf tube.
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah, so I mean, I could do it very easily. So when I go to pull the cable, I'm just going to tie a piece of plastic bag to like a very thin twine, and use my shop vac to suck it through, and then use the twine to pull it back. So it's going to be super easy to do. Knock on wood. Hopefully. I do have a snake too that I can fit through there if need be. So.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm excited. Now it's time to I called the electrician for the final stage. Actually, it's funny because I looked at the text message, my last text message to him. It was November like 23 of 21, and he was asking me, was the room ready? Was the room ready? Because he was ready to do his final stage, and I was like, man, it's been 3 years.
Don't say that again, man. Just keep that to yourself.
But
Well,
yeah, no.
For the first 3 years, it was only a year. Just saying. I'm like,
that'll show you what the type
time
of progress
frame's
that I made the
different,
first
man.
couple months, because I actually broke the wall down in June of 2021. So that'll show you the progress that I made in that like 5 months. I got everything framed. I got everything going. I had all the electrical ran. I had all that stuff. Just that's when I actually had to take on a second job and broke my toe because I dropped my wife's. I was moving my wife's Peloton, and it has the weights that went on the back. So when I lifted it up with no shoes on, it fell onto my toe. So that halted me from climbing ladders and everything for about 3 months. So yeah.
You're supposed to lose weight, not lose your toe with those.
Yeah. I got pictures of the toe and everything, X-rays.
You can send them to Paul. I don't want to see them.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna go to the after I'm done with this test, I'm gonna go to the door store that I went to before. I'm gonna order two doors that, I mean, they're thick too. They're really thick, 2 solid core doors. And then got the electrician out there. I already got I got a guy that does paint he painted my outside of my house, and I think he was going to charge me like $300 to paint the room. So I don't even think I'm going to even mess with it. I'm like, just do it, you know.
Oh, that's
paint,
cheap, man.
yeah, paint and primer and prep the room.
Yeah,
I'm like,
cheap,
just
man.
I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm going to let him do it.
That's cheap, dude. I can tell you right now.
For Florida,
for
that Florida price,
Mm-hmm.
that is cheap, man.
Yeah,
he painted my whole outside of my house for like
he's either not going to show up
How
or
much?
it's really
$2,000. I have a 4,300 square foot house.
What?
Yeah. So he does painting for a university. That's what his job is for one of the universities. And he's just doing it for side money.
He has plenty of work.
It's like 10 grand to get a house painted around here.
He has plenty of work. I used to paint in college. I used to paint the dorms in the summer because international students, we couldn't work off campus, so that was like the only job we could get. So I used to paint. So I know how crazy it is, especially painting those stairwells. That's a lot of areas to paint. You got plenty of work.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him because my house is about 2018, so it's what 6-7 years old now. So I'm gonna get him to repaint the whole inside too. So once I get the theater room going and all that stuff, so get him to repaint the whole inside.
So let's talk. I don't know. You wanted to talk?
No, I was going to say let's go to Ray because I've taken up all his time. Is what I was going to say.
Yeah. So let's just talk
anything
briefly.
to stop the drywall jokes.
I know, right? Let's talk briefly about your room, right? So just in terms of just the dimensions, and then we can start taking a look.
Yeah.
How long have you had the room?
So this, I bought this house.
This version of it.
Yeah. This I haven't done construction wise. I haven't done anything to the room. This is how the builder made it, and my primary reason for moving to this house was the media room. So I've been in this house for 13 years now. The only thing I've really done in this room is repainted, change the carpet out, darker color because it had the standard builder beige color in here. But they had done a very good job with, they had a riser already in here. The door was at the back of the room, not towards where the screen should be. The projector connection was in the right place, etc. So, well done room by the builder as much as they could. Now it's not a big room, as I was saying. It's 12 feet wide, 19 feet deep, right? And the front of the room is about the ceilings are 9 feet, and then there's a foot 1 foot riser, so the back is 8 feet.
8 feet.
So that's sort of the room itself. I wish, if I had anything to change, probably if I just had a couple of more feet of width, I would love that. And maybe the ability to, just because of the riser, the room sort of divided in half, so I can't push my first row much further than where I'm sitting, which limits my ability to kind of go acoustically transparent and go bigger on the screen, because the screen would be so close that I just don't have the ability. I would have to lose one row of seats, which I can't. I've got a big family. So yeah, that's pretty much the room. I haven't done really anything construction wise to the room or changes.
Okay.
Very nice. So what were the dimensions again? I think I missed that. You
12 feet wide.
12 by 19.
12 feet wide, 19 deep, and then 9 foot ceiling in the front and 8 in the back because of the riser. One thing I did do is, fortunately, we were just talking about the cooling of these rooms, is I had a zone system upstairs, right? However, they did not have a thermostat in this room, and the thermostat that was cooling this media room was in a bedroom that's like halfway down on the first on this floor, and we would be here, 5, 6 of us. It would be 80 degrees, 85 degrees in the room here. And I had equipment at that time in the room as well, and it would be 70 degrees in the bedroom.
Yes.
And the AC would have turned off. So I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. So the builder at their cost, actually, just because I had the zoning already done, they put a thermostat here, changed out the ducts to larger ducts, put a return in here. So that, I think probably that was the best thing that I spent money on. It was like only $600 to do that because
really?
Because they did it at their cost. Which is very nice of them. That's where customer service comes in. But if I did not have a zone system for the upstairs, I was SOL at that
Yeah,
point.
because I do have similar. The zone, the thermostat is right outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the ducts are kind of really small because they're just like designed to be like
Yeah,
a
I only had a
standard
6-inch
room.
duct in here. I had a
Yeah,
6-inch.
that's
Now
exactly
I've
what
got
I
two
have.
9s. Now I've got 2 9s in here.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I think
So,
that's great,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
do you actually hear because that's a large duct? Do you actually hear the wind the air whistling and stuff like that? Because
No, I don't, because the damping system that they have is pretty good. The excess air goes into another zone. It dumps it out there,
okay.
so it regulates how much air actually comes in here. So I've never heard it whistling or even the return. I don't hear the return.
Okay.
Pulling it through. So it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, when you got those larger ducts like that, you have to pay attention, because if you just start pumping all that
Yeah.
air, like when I replace my AC, because I've already replaced the one for my upstairs. When I replace my AC, I'm going to go to a bigger unit, but that's what I got to worry about is, if I'm pushing too much air through the ducts at that time, then you start hearing the whistling and stuff like that, coming out of the registers, right? So yeah, it's.
I mean, it's not like it's going to be running all the time, right? It's probably just going to pick up when the room temperature drops to a setting.
That's the other thing you have to consider when we're designing this, is to make sure that, if you are just in this room, that AC is not power cycling every 5 minutes, right? On, off, on, off, on. You don't want that either. So the flow, like Don was saying, the flow has to be appropriate, that when it runs for a certain time, has run
Then it
enough
cools,
time to run, take the humidity out, right? For it to, you have to kind of make sure that whoever's designing your system is kind of knows what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of your equipment. And is this the first? You said you've been in the house for 14 years, right? So you obviously knew that you wanted to build a home theater. Is this the first iteration, or have you had multiple changes?
Multiple changes, many changes. When I moved into this house, I had one SVS cylinder sub, which I bought for $400 at that time, sitting in the back corner, and I had SVS speakers, a set of 5 speakers, and I was very happy. Little did I know, but as you start, dabbling into learning a little bit, especially when I joined the ABS forum, that's where everything changed, and when I started to understand, to really see what I was hearing, I was sitting in a null, man, and I was happy. So, I've gone through many iterations, experimented a lot of stuff. I like to kind of hear things in my room. You could go to somebody else's house, but there's so many other variables, and when you want to do a comparison, you have to change one variable at a time, right? Otherwise, you don't know what changed. So, I've ordered. I mean, yes, it cost me money, but I think I ended up with the right equipment at that point. So demoed a lot of subwoofers and speakers in my room, and I am now. I think at this point, I don't think I can upgrade. Famous last words, but when I tell you what I have, you'd probably say, "Yeah, I don't know what you're going to put in this room," because I'm maxed out from a space perspective. Every single inch is occupied by a subwoofer or a speaker.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Well,
let's get into it. Let's see what we got going on here.
Pick up that camera, switch it
let me
around,
see.
and let's.
Let me move this out of the way.
Yeah, and you can switch to the rear camera, right? It might
Yeah,
kick you out, and then you can reconnect.
Yeah, I'm actually on my phone, so I should be able to just flip it over, right?
Yeah, try that. If it kicks you out, you can just rejoin and then select it.
Said pop. You
It
got to
don't
go to
matter.
settings and then go to the rear camera.
Okay, so camera's on. I can remember how I flipped it over.
Yeah, I think you went to the
Settings,
settings,
camera, and then rear camera.
Rear back camera. And
Yeah,
then I gotta go like this.
Yeah, try the other way, and then
there you go.
I can highlight you.
All right. So I'm gonna back up so you can actually see when I enter the room, right? So
yikes.
Chuck's in the house.
Yeah, so this is my front wall. The speakers are the JTR 212 RTs. The center is the 212 HTR, so basically the same speaker is just laid horizontally. They have dual 12-inch drivers and a horn, wooden horn in there, 101 dB sensitive. They're tuned to 35 hertz. But I'll tell you something I've learned over time, just as part of the continuous learning. So this on the front wall, the subs here are the Stereo Integrity HS24s, and in the middle you've got two NSW21s. These are custom design cabinets by a buddy of mine. His name is Mike Basunas in Chicago, and as you can see, there's the custom design in the sense that there's no, it's so tight that it couldn't have been any other dimension to fit in the front. And I did have to move my screen up a little bit more than I would have liked to, but that was the only way to get this massive center in here. I would love to do as I said, acoustically transparent screen, but you can see my front row is, that distance here is very, very small. So, but that's my front wall. Now, if I take you sort of on my journey, this is my main listening position, this one in the middle here. And let me back up a little bit. What I have here is some near field subwoofers for Tactile.
He's got some truck boxes.
So these are angle cabs, again, custom designed. This is a UM18, this new version on this seat. These two are Stereo Integrity SQL15s, and then you have another one here. So that's two 18s and two 15s.
You mean to tell me that the 224s and the 221s weren't enough, that you had to go ahead and put even more behind the seats?
I'm not 5 feet away. Yeah, and I'm not done yet. I've got 224s here in the back.
And 612s. I mean, those 12s are subwoofers, basically. I mean,
yeah. And these are 224s here in the back as well.
Holy crap.
So that's my rear row. So yeah, so subwoofer wise, I've got 424s, 221s, 218s, and 215s, and then yes, 612s, 410s, and 48s. that's my total speaker.
Wow.
So I got a question for you. Why do you even have those bass traps in there? Because they're not doing anything.
Yeah, there's no bass being trapped there, man.
No, there's no bass being trapped.
Inside a subwoofer. At this point, you should have just built a subwoofer around the room.
And then I have 4 Crosons underneath my seat as well.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a junkie.
I want to know. We'll talk about those croissants because I'm thinking of those myself.
Right.
So.
You have a problem. There's
that's the back of the room.
You got a lot of
diffusion
in there.
Yeah. I've got more diffusion than absorption, and it sounds. I mean, you can see I've got one right behind my listening position here. These are 3D diffusers. So I've got 2D diffusion in the front and 3D diffusion in the back. And then here, right above my speakers, I'm going to turn off this light, this other light, so you can see the ceiling. So you can see this is a combination of diffusion and absorption. And I'll tell you just the importance of this. You can see how close I am to the speaker, the center channel. Just adding this on the ceiling made a tremendous amount in dialogue clarity. If you wouldn't believe it. I was surprised how much impact it made.
Wow.
So yeah.
Did you make the diffusion yourself, or did you purchase it somewhere?
No, I purchased them. I've added them over time because this stuff does get expensive. Why the GIK, these 244s are different colors, because I found a guy in Austin who was just throwing these out, 8 of them, pretty much new, and they would have cost me like $800. So I just went to Austin, picked them up from him, and that's why they're a different color. And then as I sort of listened to my room, did some measurements, I started adding things like diffusion and absorption over time. But they are a mix of Anthony Gramani's company, Sonatus USA, GIK, and then I got some stuff from UA Acoustics as well. But yeah, there's more. You're right. There's more diffusion than absorption in the room.
So what's the depth of the round ones that you have there, right there?
These ones,
Yeah,
I think these are probably maybe about 12, 6, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 inches.
10
They're pretty
inches.
yeah, in
So
the
how far
widest
do they
part.
stick off the wall? They stick off
So
12 inches off the wall?
that yeah, no, not two, maybe 6 to 8 inches at the
Okay.
widest part. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking for something to put behind fabric about 4 inches.
Yeah.
So
No, this is more than 4 inches for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are those UA acoustics or the
No,
Grumman?
this is Sonitus. The U
Okay.
acoustics are these ones in the back here.
Yeah.
But I think Sonitus diffusers are better, in my opinion. They're not cheap, but right now they've got free shipping on these and on this stuff, and they've been out of stock for over 2 years.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I don't know what else you want me to show you. So what I have for my side surrounds here, I've got the JTR 110s. I'm still holding on to my PSA 110 SRs for the surround backs, and then for Atmos, I've got these JBL SCS 8s for them. So I've got a 7.10.4 system in here.
Wow.
If you're counting the number of drivers for
So
the
what's
subwoofers.
what's the screen size?
The screen size it's a 16:9, 120 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the projector you're using, if I saw correctly, I think that was an Epson.
Yeah, it's a Epson 6040 UB. I bought this refurbished 3 years ago for like $1,600. But I do have a HD Fury Vertex 2 for tone mapping that's sitting in the middle, which does a marvelous job with that. So I don't feel an urge.
One of those, yeah.
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 I have the room.
Yeah, just the front camera.
Which is a really good gear, man.
So what are we looking at in your rack? Do you have
Yeah, I'll have to take you to the. So bear with me. I'm gonna get off camera and take you there. I'll show you what I have from a gear perspective. It's in a. This was one thing that opened up possibilities for me is to move it into another room in the common wall. All right, let me see if I can get back on.
and just real quick, from your seat to those speakers, what are you looking at? Like 5 feet, 7 feet?
No, it's about close to 7.5 to 8 feet when reclined, especially.
Okay.
Yeah. So not too close, but close enough. But I love the proximity to them. Okay, so is this coming through? It might be a bit dark. Let me see if I can get this my work light that I have in this room on. Might help a little bit.
There we go.
Let's see. So I can install this 42U rack. I'll just walk you through it. Receiver wise, I'm using a Denon 4700. And then I've got a Zidu 9X player right here. On the top is the Vertex 2 that's sitting between the projector and the AVR. I've got two amps here. There are OSD Audio HTA 7200 amps. Yep. And then I've got NX6000 for the Crosons. NX6000 for the Nearfield 18s.
That's Behringer, right?
Behringer. Then the Croson amp for the Crosons. And then I've got two CBR D2004 for the subwoofers. Those are, I'll show you like pretty heavy duty stuff here. They are rated at 3,500 watts per channel at 4 ohms. So that's what I'm using to power my subwoofers. So each of those drivers, the 24s and the 21s, are getting 3,500 watts each per driver.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had the electrician run 30 amp dedicated breakers for each of those amps because I didn't want to get into a situation where I was tripping breakers. Didn't want to get into that situation. Very, very fortunate because, you can see there's a door there and my panel is on that same side of the house as well. So I was very fortunate. There was attic access, panel on the same side as the media room. It's a couple of $100 for the electrician to run me some, 10 gauge wire for this. So, yeah, I lucked out on some of this stuff, to be honest.
So John says neighbors be like, he's watching The Matrix again.
I know, right?
Oh man,
You woke,
I'm
you've
gonna
woken
watch
everybody
that.
up.
he's watching Blade Runner again. That intro.
I know, right? It's just demo tracks. That's all they're gonna hear. You know. So
that is
tell
gorgeous.
us your room measurement. What do you have your subwoofers down to?
Say that again.
For your subwoofer measurements,
Oh,
how low do you have them running?
So I'm flat down to 5 hertz. So 5 hertz to 250 hertz. But I actually have a rising curve on mine, which is counter to what you would expect. And I've also started running LFE plus main, which is very, again, counter to what typically you would have a system running. And the reason for that is just because, again, you have to know the capability of your equipment, right? My speakers are powerful enough. I've got amperage and wattage pushing through the speakers and the subs. And what that did was it distributed the bass really nicely. So I can tell a difference that, like if you're watching A Quiet Place or something, anything happening on the right side bass wise, it's coming. I can feel it that it's coming from the right side. And so the bass separation was really, really good with the LFE plus mains. Now for music, I still run, just LFE, not LFE plus mains, because there's more punch that way.
Yeah, you can do that with those 12s you got,
Yeah.
with the 212.
It's really crazy down to watch your LCR drivers move as well, just like a subwoofer. It's really, really cool. It's really cool to see that.
Yeah. Have you tried experience with well, I guess maybe any I was going to talk about art, but Storm has the art still. And then have you had any experience trying to calibrate any of that? Either the art or the waveforming is strictly turn off right now, right? So
Yeah, no, I haven't, and a lot of buddies of mine who have it. There's mixed views I hear. Right, it's not they don't tell me it's a slam dunk by any means, and the kind of sound that I'm actually getting in the room, I just can't get myself to spend that much incremental. Right, it's about to the point, Paul, you were making. Like, how much better is it going to be, right? And I'm going to be spending $15,000 more.
yeah, I think it's more seat to seat variance than anything, right?
Yeah,
It's
nobody in my room cares.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's the thing, right? It's like how many
No, they
people in
wouldn't
your
even know the
family
difference.
care
They
about
wouldn't.
it?
They wouldn't even know the
Yeah.
difference. And seat to seat, to be honest, because I've got so much around, it's not bad. But I optimize everything for my distinct position, because I'll pick up every subtle difference. And my kids or my wife, they probably don't care. Or the people.
So
So let's talk
for
about the
your
wife
project-
factor. Does she? Sorry, I go ahead.
No, I was going to quickly ask. I know we forgot about that. But for your projector and your screen, what are you running for your projector?
It was an Epson 6040 UB.
Okay, 6040 UV, and the screen size is what?
Screen was 120 inches, 16 by 9. 16
Okay.
9. Yeah.
Is that Stewart? Is that
No,
Silver Ticket?
this was it's a very basic screen. There used to be a store called Visual Apex a while back. I bought it from them for like $300-400 as part of a package with the projector. The projector that was before this one, and I've been running it, since then. Just don't feel. Again, I said, I'm sure a video file comes through here. They'll nitpick a lot of stuff on the video that could be better. I'm sure it can be, but I'm pretty happy with the video, especially since I put the Vertex 2 in there. It does the combination of a Zidu player and that HD Fury devices.
Yeah,
It's
it's crazy,
excellent.
man.
I
It's
literally
crazy good.
just
Crazy
ordered
good.
the Vroom just now.
Yeah, I need
Yeah,
to.
you'll be blown away, Paul.
Yeah,
Well,
I need to exchange ideas with you on
I've
that and
already
see what
done-
settings you have. Sorry,
yeah,
Paul.
you can buy like a little EasyQ
Yeah.
$32 device,
Yeah.
and it takes, you got to firmware hack it basically. Not really.
Yeah, you don't need all that.
You got to do some firmware and download some hex edited EasyHT data for the Dolby Vision and the nit restriction and change it. And I spent, because I'm as an engineer, it was frustrating for me.
Yeah.
Because I, because there's super geniuses out there, but I don't always understand their explanation, and sometimes things change, so a link may be wrong and all. Anyways, I got it working, and it was amazing. I was like, oh, this looks good. I was like, I like this. This is cool. But then it didn't pass CEC. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, no, that's a no-go. That's a no-go for me, because I have it set up to where Jessica can walk. All she does not need to see any other remote except the Apple TV. She doesn't care about the Atmos, whether it's PCM, whether it's done by. She doesn't care about any of that. And most of the show she watches doesn't have Atmos anyway. So, but whenever we're watching a movie, I'll turn on the Zadoo, but I can't control. It's like, I don't want 15 remotes. Like, I literally don't even use my stereo or processor remote or my Epson remote, any of that. I literally use the Apple remote to turn everything on.
Gotcha.
And then I'll use my Zadoo remote to do if I want to do the, special, movies or my own Plex that I have. But I can't wait.
Yeah, no, you'll be happy, Paul. I'm using my Harmony Elite to control all my devices on my iPad.
I bet you it's super easy with all that stuff. And the other thing,
it's easy. Yeah,
you'll have to answer me this, Ike, because I could have just got the one in, one out for EasyHT editing, but I went ahead and went for the Vroom.
Yeah, I got the Vroom.
Because I also have a Gobi Sync AI box.
Yeah.
And I can take one of the outputs, right? And
you can use one of the outs.
So then I don't have to worry about it syncing with that. It'll always just play. I can make it play natively what that device can accept, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. Because I've looked at it before and looked up all the specs, but that's
because I actually have the Gobi Sync. I've actually tested it, so I know that it works with the Gobi Sync box. Not the AI one, but I had the original Gobi Sync box that came out. But yeah, it should work. And there are two ways to connect the Vroom, right? So you can connect everything to your AVR.
Post. I'm going to do post processor. I want to do it right in between my processor and the screen. And then I'll have the Gobi Sync on like port 2 type of deal. Yeah. And you could probably do that with, I'm making fun of Chana right now. You could technically do like 4 virtual zones there, right?
Yeah.
For the Gobi, like have 4 different zones playing. Well, I guess it would play the same thing, but you could have 4 different outputs with different resolutions. Because that's the thing that people
it's a great tool, man.
That's the thing that people don't understand about, like, oh, why would you ever need this? It's like, well, I might have a 1080p TV if you're really bougie in the bathroom, and then I might have my full 4K one in the living room. And then for the, the screening room, I might have an 8K. And if we're watching the Super Bowl, hey, if you got to go to the bathroom, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss a single play. It's like, hey, so there's definitely use cases for it. But
yeah, for sure. So one thing, Paul, you noticed that depending on what kind of projector, I think you had an Epson or something, right?
Yep, I have an Epson 6050, the same thing.
So that LLDV that the Vroom will do, that it's fantastic. I think you'll be really happy with that. Cool. And Don, you were going to ask me about wife factor. So this is one thing, again, I've been blessed with. In this room, my wife lets me do whatever the heck I want. Yeah, she has no idea.
Does she like to watch the movies? Well, first of all, where are you watching your movies at? Are you watching them at a reference? Or are you watching them below reference?
Depending, it could be anywhere from -6 to -10, depending on how hot the mix is. But I rarely go higher than that. The only concern my wife has that she thinks because of all this bass, where even my concrete walls and brick walls are vibrating, she thinks I'm going to end up downstairs that this whole room is going to collapse because the nails and the screws are coming loose.
Man,
And
that's a reasonable fear, man.
she actually freaked me out one day. I did have to kind of research a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, this is a pretty well constructed house, but when you play something like Interstellar here with this much horsepower and this here, it is scary. But that's what you want. I actually want my system to scare me, and so it does.
Yeah, no, I thought I was doing something with 815s, but apparently not.
Well, that was like 5 years ago, bro. Now 24s.
Yeah.
24s.
If you would have
Yeah,
finished
man.
your
Sweet
theater
spot.
on time, you would
I
have.
got to
had bragging
contact. I'm
rights.
going to have to contact Jeff over there at Deep Sea Sound.
I know,
Yeah.
right? And get you some
I'm gonna-
21s.
Look, you look at this. Look at this thing. Look at the beauty.
Oh yeah,
right. This
Yeah,
is
they're gorgeous.
this is why I got this.
Yeah,
And
that is
and the
amazing.
only reason I got the NSWs is after this upgrade, I did not want to have any doubts. Hey, am I missing some mid bass? But these are really killer drivers. The Eminence 21s, killer drivers. But these are so beautiful. I mean, I just bought them for the looks, and I changed my drive setup.
We saw them at
Yeah.
M-Wave. They had them
So
at
sexy.
M-Wave. So,
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, carbon
man.
fiber subwoofer. Yep,
Ugh.
that's the.
And-
I like it better than the checkered pattern speakers that other companies have. Carbon fiber is pretty damn sexy,
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
and they're great performing.
yeah,
subs. I've been very, very pleased.
we
Yeah,
love
if
the
you're gonna
size.
have like really big, large subwoofers for the wow factor, at least let them look good, like the SIs, right? Like
Yeah,
you want them
and
to
obviously
look
I went sealed, which is really this is an interesting part. Before this one, I had a CAF 4000, just one of them in here, and the room would moan and groan so much, right? And I couldn't figure out where all this moaning and groaning was coming in. And now I've got more subs now, but they're sealed, and the rooms just tightened up.
Yeah.
There was something maybe at the low end frequency that was getting so boosted in a ported sub. The seal sub naturally roll off quicker, so I can
Yeah.
control how much boost I want to add, which I couldn't do really with the cap as much. But that has really tightened up the bass in this room. Everything is really
I
punchy
have
and
all
clean.
sealed subs. It's a
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
even go that low. Like I'm literally just at like 20 hertz.
Mm.
I don't high pass necessarily, but 18 hertz is my extension, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sealed subs. I'm always been even in car audio days, people would run ported, and I was like, oh man, I want sealed, man. It's just too much phase alignment, and
Yeah, it's a lot simpler to deal with the seal subs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, everything is. I mean, as I said, I love this hobby. So when people reach out to me to come in and they want to hear my system, every weekend somebody, at least 5 or 6 people are coming through.
Oh wow!
Not that ported subs are bad in any.
Yeah,
So,
shape.
like, how far does he live
Like,
from you?
They are amazing.
4 hours. I'm about to plan a
Yeah.
trip to Houston, man.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
in Dallas, man. So yeah.
I come to Dallas all the time too. I got a lot of
really?
friends there. I got a lot of friends there.
When next you do, please hit me up, man.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
can definitely.
Yeah,
My
someone
room
asked,
is nothing as
what was-
impressive as yours.
what was
but-
the dimensions of your room? Someone just asked. I don't.
12 wide, 19 deep.
Yeah,
and
I think
9 foot- 9
you
foot 2
wanted it to be a little bit larger.
If it was
That's still
14
a pretty good size. That's a
It
good
is.
size room. It's just
I
all
just
your
have
subs
oversized
make it
gear.
look small.
I just have oversized gear. I mean, like you guys were saying, my speakers have driver side of subwoofers, so that's why.
Yeah, I
it's
was
small.
curious if you needed, with the 220, the 224s. I was curious if you needed the 21s. You could lay those 24s on their side, and then you could be able to drop your screen down a little bit.
Yeah, I do think that there's additional sharpness to the bass that these 21s bring in. It's a little kick to the bass. I've done a lot of experimentation, just turning them on, turning them off, and you can definitely tell the difference. But the one thing I would never give up, if you ask me to give up whatever, is a very near field. That very near field is just being an out of this world experience for me. I would never give that up.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
I've had people come to my place and be like, "Oh, I'm getting near fields," and I have 12.
tell you.
I have 12-inch sub. Like I said, I'm all sealed. I don't have
Yeah.
any. I'm not trying to chase the bass. I love the bass.
Mhm.
I used to do 140 dB in my car. So, I'm very familiar. And that was, gosh.
Yeah.
Over 20 years ago. Gosh, dang, man. I'm embarrassed to say. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. 30 years ago, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah.
I used to compete. But now technology has gotten so much better. It's like, yeah, I would be embarrassed to have 140 dB now because people are
Yeah.
pushing 180 at the car shows.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. Have you
I
seen
mean, I
those
broke a
videos of the girl's hair?
I broke a windshield once, so that's 140 dB can break a windshield.
You feel like Shaq, you breaking the backboard, right?
Yeah. You're just like, oh,
They gotta reinforce it
you're
for
like,
you.
oh, and then you're like, that's gonna be expensive.
So what are some of your favorite demos, and then what will be your maybe top 3 movies? They don't have to be bass-worthy movies.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not talking about testing your subwoofers, but for the demos, obviously, yes.
Yeah, I mean, demo material, I've got over 1,000 demos, but the classic ones that we always that shows the capability of your system. Ready Player One, because of the transient type bass that it has, all the bass transients it has. Ready Player One, the first, the race through Manhattan. Then there is one that is overlooked by a lot of folks, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's the Flight of the Phoenix.
Yeah, I've
If
heard
you've seen
about that
that.
one.
I've heard of it. I don't think
That is, I mean, you got to check that out. That is
I think I
outstanding.
have it, but I've always ignored it. You know how you
Yeah.
just have all these demo
Yeah.
tracks, but you keep defaulting to the same
Yeah,
ones.
the Flight of the Phoenix, you got to check that out. And then War of the Worlds, when the pods emerge.
Oh yeah,
And
that's a good
then
one.
we'll do some stuff around, which has good Atmos, like the Mission Impossible stuff. So there's like 5 or 6 go-to ones, but then I'll take requests. Whatever you want to hear, we'll do that, and then we'll do some music to really showcase the system as how it does in the music. As far as my own personal movies, I mean, I like all the John Wicks, and the Marvel type stuff, action related. But John Wick is probably by far my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie, John Wick. I love that.
All of
movie
them.
also.
That's my cup of tea.
I mean, they get pretty redundant after the third one,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's
But that's what I'm saying. It's like when you feel like, and you're sitting in the chair, you feel like you're getting shot yourself. It just makes it so much fun.
yeah, I'm sure. So, talk to me about these croissants, because I'm
Yeah.
really looking at them. What differentiates them from an actual butt kicker? Why should I choose the croissant over a regular butt kicker?
Yeah, few things, Don. One is how low they can go, right? So they can go down to 3-4 hertz, right? You can actually feel it. The other thing is the accuracy. They're very, very accurate. There's no. So the butt kicker has that the metal thing in there, kind of moving.
Yeah.
So there's some.
Depends.
It's hard to dial them in. Croissants are much easier, and it's an actuator, right? It's actually physically moving the device rather than just shaking you, right? So it feels very natural. I don't even sometimes realize they're on, or they just blend very well with the subs. So I think what you're paying for really is the accuracy and the ability to go down. And then people that don't listen as loud, for them, they still have the ability to kind of have the very low ULF type feeling.
Yeah, because
And
I
very
was
easy to set
looking
up.
at, because I have 2 of the what is it, monolith 215s.
Mhm.
I was going to put them behind the screen, and then I was going to put then I have 4 rel 1510s. I was going to put them in the corners in the back, but now I'm thinking I want to put them along the theater seats as near field, and then do croissants on the couch, because I'm going to have a couch in front of that.
Mhm.
Put the croissants on the couch feet, so that way I kind of get tactile in both seating areas, right?
Yeah.
So
I think the key with the croissants is setup. Setup in the sense of their installation, but how there's a very fantastic guy that that's a friend of ours has written on the forum around very detailed about carpet spikes and putting some metal plates and then isolators, and it does a whole guide about it, like 40-50 page guide, and it talks about the curves you should run implementation wise, installation wise. That I think you can have a very different experience whether you set them up properly or not.
Okay.
Just like
Yeah,
everything else, right? Setup is
I'm
key.
you won't see. This is why I'm on YouTube. You won't catch me on the AVS forums. That's
Yeah.
too much reading for me.
Yeah, but I would encourage you to get a hold of that guy, or I can send it to you, and you can. I would definitely see that if you're gonna go get Crosons, I would definitely look into that.
No, I've been on there a couple times. It's just
Yeah.
when you got to thumb through 50 pages just to get through what you want to get to, finally.
Yeah.
Aren't the Crosons like a magnetic plate? That's how they're.
Oh, I thought they were talking about you, Croson, with your name on there. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can show them to you here real close here. Give me 1 second. But yeah, they are magnetic. Let me see if I can get enough light down here.
I mean, not that speakers aren't magnetic.
Yeah.
But the Crosons are, the way they work are like I think like a magnetic door. You know how they have like a plate that just, and that's why they're so expensive, because they're working with a magnetic field where they're actually, there's no mechanical device.
Correct. That is
like
correct.
a base shaker that's like, oh, let's do this, which
right.
They've gotten way better throughout the days.
It's
in
going to be too dark. I don't think you guys can see this. It's too dark.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can get the light back there.
Yeah, that's okay then.
It won't let me turn on the flashlight when the camera is on.
Yeah,
that's all right.
So I got them pulled up here.
But I think those are like, they're kind of stationary, like mounted, but they're using a magnetic field to do the vibration, which can be, as accurate as you want, because it's a very strong, basically like high-powered electromagnet.
Yeah, they almost have no delay required for them.
Exactly. Yep. It's just on off. You're just literally like just with a.
So what's the difference between these models here?
They're just a different, like a pair versus a single. There's no difference there's just one type of Croson. There's no difference.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, I didn't even know they had different models. Like,
no,
so that's the set. Are you buying?
That's the set.
2, 4. Okay.
So for a couch, how many would you suggest? Like a couch with a chase on the chase.
So that's seating how many people? 3 or 4 people?
Yeah, probably 4 people.
I would say you probably need 4.
Okay. And these come with the amplifiers too?
You will have to buy the amplifier separately. Amplifier is a little pricey. A lot of people are using the NX3000 or NX6000 for these. With the NX6000 roll off really fast below 20 hertz, so you have to compensate them with a curve to boost them up. But the amplifier is expensive.
That's for one, right?
That's for one.
$640 for one.
Yeah, it's like $1160 or so for a pair.
Yeah.
But the amp is like $700-800. I mean, you can use one.
Yeah, I would probably use the Behringer amp myself.
And you can just compensate for its low end roll off with a curve just to boost it.
So the whole system. Oh, there's one with 4 for $3,100.
There you go.
The amp itself is like $800.
That's not that bad considering
each
one $640 a piece. That's $2,400. They're not even charging that much for the amp.
I'm just gonna buy 3 subwoofers, 3 15-inch subwoofers.
What's the spikes? What's the spikes for? Is that to put?
That's to bring the other seats to the same height.
The level.
Okay.
And isolate them from the floor. It just enhances the shake. But I'm not using their isolators. I'm using the Hudson isolators because it gives you they're more pliable, so they give you a little bit more movement.
Ah, gotcha. I'm writing that down for my 3D business. I can make pliable feet
Yep.
isolators. TPU, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, you
And
guys are giving Don too many ideas, man. Let's
well,
just get
I'm
the
the one that
baseline
already says that I
theater.
was going to do this,
But-
so they didn't give me any ideas.
The beauty of these, Don, is just because they disappear. They're very easy. Just lift up the couch, put them down there. All right.
Yeah.
And
It's just
forget them.
very,
Yeah.
very easy to implement, very easy to
How
install.
tall are they?
They probably add maybe about 3 inches, maybe to your seat.
Oh,
Let me
really?
see if
They're
I can
3
get some
inches? They don't
specs.
look that tall, but
Yeah, 2.5, 3 inches.
wow.
Yeah, I don't see any specs. That one's out of stock. It seems like they're all out of
Well,
stock.
yeah, I mean, it says out of stock. You have to email Randolph and this place an order, and he puts you on your waiting list. It's usually about a 2-month waiting list.
Wow. They're
Yeah.
they're that popular, huh?
Oh yeah, there's nothing like them. I mean, they're pricey, but there's nothing else that does this.
Yep.
I mean, you could go and do a DIY solution, which is the Hezi platform. I don't know if you've heard of that,
Yep.
but you could do that. But again, you wouldn't want to do that in a living room because now you're putting sheets of plywood down there underneath your couch,
Yeah.
which is
You'd have to get very, creative with.
Yeah,
you'd
there's your
to be
seats
a
have to have
really
the
good
clearance.
woodworker to make that
Yeah.
happen. Because
and your seats have to have the right amount of clearance. Otherwise, you're going cone up, which adds height. So it's not.
yeah,
It's a lot cheaper. It's like 1/10 of the price of this, but yeah, you have to put some work in, and people can't put that in their living room.
Yeah, I was gonna run 3 speaker wires to the back side of my riser.
These are definitely for Don, because if it took him 2 years to do drywall, it would take him a lot longer to do a hover easy.
We're supposed to formally retire the drywall jokes.
Oh, sorry.
Tonight's
Sorry.
show. So get all the drywall jokes.
Get them done today,
Hey,
because after that you're gonna get paint jokes.
I made a craftsmanship joke on that one. It just happened to have the word drywall in it.
Yeah, that's a loophole right there.
Oh man, too funny.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about putting maybe some, because my riser is going to be 12 inches, so I'm using 2x12. So I was thinking about I'm going to run extra speaker wire in there anyway, just in case I want to add, like 4 8-inch subwoofers going right into the back of the couch, for near field.
Mm-hmm.
Or because I don't want to go any. I guess I could do 10s, but they would be, it'd be kind of pushing it.
If you're putting a riser in, you could put the the drivers into the riser and make the hover easy that way as well. That'll save you on the height.
Oh, okay.
Do an inverse, like basically is what he's saying is you build a box, the drivers are in there.
Right.
And you're covering those subs with a sealed thing, and then you put a platform on top of that.
Right. That's right.
And then your couch sits on that. So however height.
Well, my couch is going to be sitting on the concrete floor, so that's the theater seats are going to be sitting.
Well, we're talking about like whatever's sitting on the riser.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's going to get interesting. It's going to get fun. I'm going to start documenting some of this stuff. I didn't document any of the drywall stuff because, look, I mean, I watch drywall videos and have nightmares, but, and I think drywall is boring.
You might have started a trend. You might have, if you filmed your drywall, it probably would have been a new trend. Because
for real, people will start delaying
one drywall screw a day. Like,
yeah, that's funny.
That would be a hit on TikTok, man.
I gotta tune in. To Don. Hold on. I gotta be live for this one to see
the Don drywall challenge.
Yeah.
DDW. It just comes out so wrong, but yeah. done drywall challenge or something, man.
Yep.
You'd have made more money, man.
Nah, I mean, look, I'm ready to get moving on with the other stuff. I'll probably film the riser and all that other stuff. I am probably going to just set everything up first before I build the riser, because when I build the riser, I want the steps to kind of angle in. So I don't want to have gaps, where you can step off, because when I angle them like a 45-degree angle, the side on the wall is going to be longer than the side that comes right by the couch, and I want to kind of fit the couch in there, snug. And I'm worried about seating distance, so I want to set the couch up set the couch up and set the at least one theater chair up, and then put the projector up, shoot it up on and then adjust back and forth to where I make sure that I'm not seeing any, because I got the G4 perforated screen. I want to make sure that I'm not seeing any perf. I want to also make sure that I'm not sitting in a knoll, so I've got to be able to move it around before I, do the riser, because the last thing you want to do is sit your front row into a knoll, right? And you can, if you can prevent it.
Until you install all the equipment in play, your whole room's in null.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to install all the speakers and all that stuff, so all that's going to be ready to go. The only thing I'm saving the acoustics, right? I'm saving the acoustics for later on. All the panels and everything else, and the aesthetics, I'm saving that for later too. So, but just get it going. Yes, sir. Paint is already getting scheduled. I got the guy coming by tomorrow to look at it. You joined a little bit later, Fred, but he's giving me a fantastic rate to paint that room. It's like $300 to primer, prep, and everything else. So,
yeah, that's cool, man. And in all seriousness, yeah, congratulations. We know. Yeah, I mean, some people may not know, but the only reason I pick on Don is because I like Don.
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't like you, I ain't picking on you. I'm being nice to you if I don't like you.
Yeah, no. No, Paul and I give each other shit all the time, so that's why.
Yeah, and congratulations. Yeah, I'm sure that felt really good whenever you were like,
"Oh yeah,
finally, damn it."
I walked in and I was like, oh, "Yes."
Yeah, you're like, "Thank God, I don't have to cough up any concrete dust or aka drywall dust."
Yeah, the real winner is the wife, man. She is patient, man.
Oh,
God. She's not been, but yes, she's.
My wife
well, obviously she has been. Yeah,
I would have gone to work one day and come back and there be a bunch of guys in the house doing the whole thing because the wife got tired.
It's like, yeah, you're not getting Christmas for the next 5 years. I spent all your money.
Yeah, because seriously, the dining room, so-called dining room, we don't ever use it, but that's going to be the kid room and my entry to the theater now. But
yeah, see, that's where my barcade is. I had the formal dining room, and I was like, I've been here for like, what was it, like, I don't know, 6-7 years. I was like, what the fuck? I have used this twice in the whole time I've been here. Yep. That's it. I'm making this something else.
Exactly. Yep.
And shoot, me and Jessica were playing friggin' arcade. We're on this pinball competition. Yeah, she whooped me last week. So,
oh wow!
Damn it! Oh yeah, I mean it's like crazy. I was like, damn it! So
let me show you something that I kind of whipped up here real quick. Let's go to present. Where's that at? There it is. Share screen. Window. Here we go.
Shoot! After talking to Ahmad, I might not, or Ray. I might not need to even look at another projector because after I get that Vroom or the HD Fury, because my only thing that I don't like about the Epson that I have right now is when you change to different content, it changes. It's like, man, it's like you have to change the dynamic range, and then I feel like, do I need to adjust the brightness and the contrast on this? And when I use that EasyHT, adapter, I was like, oh man, I'm playing Dolby Vision, HDR, SDR standard, and it's all coming out relatively pretty close to the same thing.
That's right.
And then CEC wouldn't work, and I was like, oh my god, I spent all this time figuring out how to firmware download and grade, and it's probably my own assumptions on a lot of the steps on what you had to do, or I already had. What I do now is just I do everything to on the Zedu, my old first gen, I have it set to SDR BT 2020. So it stops everything, converts to that. And it basically everything comes across as SDR as far as the dynamic range, but it's still BT 2020 color space. So it it gives it that more depth, but not quite as much as what the doing that EasyHT manipulator did. So I am looking forward to doing that. When you said it, I was like, and you literally had the same. I was like, all right, I'm ordering it right now. God damn it! Like, this guy can afford a JVC, and he's still running it because he's like, I don't need it. I got this and this, which is exactly what I have. I have the new Zedu, I have the Epson, and yep, I'm gonna throw that HD Fury in and probably be happy as a clam.
So what do you guys think of this design?
I like it. You've shown that multiple times.
I like it. It just looks complex, man.
No, but I'm saying about with the tan up at the top, like I was talking about.
Oh, with the colors. That's the actual color.
Now, is this just like the kind of the great, like the top line in between there?
Yeah, it'll be black there. So
okay, I was wondering. Well, what I was saying is you might do that as a border and make that also a light.
Yeah.
That one strip at the top in between your design and the top border, if you did that at the top and the bottom, you could make that also a light, and that would almost like that. That would, you're blacking out right now. If you did a line like that at the top and the bottom, you could. That could be pretty cool. Like that could be your light strip there.
Right. Yeah, all this is going to be LEDs. The pattern. But yeah, no, I mean, this is the concept that I'm one of the concepts that I'm looking at. But that way I incorporate, like I said, I don't want a totally blacked out theater. So I was just playing with this the other day, just because I imported this into like a photo editor or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all.
Just playing with it to try to.
So you're going to do black walls, but you're just going to do the
just a splash of color. It was some I didn't.
That's the way I am. I'm not there's nothing wrong with what I'll call a screening room, right? That is just as enjoyable, right? But I'm more of a partier than I am. I love movies. I love the whole hobby, right? I mean, we have a channel here, but I just like sharing experiences with people. That's where I'm at with I'm not trying to compete with people. I mean, we always do, inherently just for fun, but it's like I'm just here to entertain. I don't need a blackout. It has to be close to, reference level. I can color grade the next movie that comes out in my room. I don't need that. I can appreciate that because, I've been in some of those where they're fully blacked out. And man, I tell you, it does make a difference with the contrast and all that. It makes a huge difference. But
so I was thinking of the black and the tan, or doing like these two colors. Do like this light color up at the top, and then this the full color of the wall.
So what is your favorite color?
Well,
Or
none of
not
the-
even favorite color. What is a piece of, so I did design, and even though I'm an engineer, I almost became like an artist designer and stuff like that. So what I would do is I would go in to your house and be like, hey, what's your favorite item? Okay. As far as emotion, like, hey, what is something that really gives you, like, you like it brings you good memories, right? And then I would be like, okay, what is an object of color that you like, no matter what the object is, right? Because a lot of the times people are like, man, I really like this toaster, or I really like this because it stands out, or I like this because it stands out. And people don't realize they may have an idea of their favorite color, right? But it may be something else that complements their favorite color, right? And that's where the hard part is as a designer. You're trying to figure out, okay, what really appeals to you? And that's what you have to figure out. What really appeals to you? Is it
I just wanted to match the seats, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to paint the ceiling black. So then you do a light color, and then you do a darker color, and then you do the light color, and then you do the dark color for the floor. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to be able to match the seats. I know I probably shouldn't, because who knows? I may change those seats sometime.
Well, okay. So here's the thing with design, right? If everything's matchy, nothing stands out. The whole purpose of enjoying something or accenting something you like is to not have it blend in. And it's a tough line, right? It's like you can have wood, right? And you want all the wood work to match, right? But if there's a specific accent piece of wood, you don't want it to do the exact same wood that all your other stuff is in, because then it'll just blend in. You won't even know. And it might be the most ornate, handmade, crazy piece of wood. But if you had someone do it in the exact same wood and color and tone, it's just, well, it blends right in. You're tripping over it like, oh, you know. So there's a fine line between, that you don't want it to distract, but you want it to contrast enough to where you notice each thing. You don't want it to be necessarily all bland. Now, for resale value, if you're talking, real estate, neutral colors all day, every day.
Yeah, exactly.
On everything except your furniture. Your furniture, usually you do a little bit more vibrant, So if you're doing neutral colors, I don't know if I would necessarily do neutrals or same, like off colors of the same. I wouldn't do like brown taupe and barely white, just because it's all matchy. Like Ahmed's room, you got the dark browns, even though you may not have done it on purpose, right? You got more of a gray, you got some taupe colors, black, and then you have brown.
I still feel like that contrast blended in though.
Yeah. If it fits far enough, yeah. And the cool thing about, and this is contractory, the cool thing about contradictory about, even if you did that, if you did all the LED stuff and that was always on, that can be your contrast
part of the contrast
color. Right. So it's,
Yeah, because I'm doing the WLED. I'm not doing like any Govee or anything like that. So because I already got the 5-wire RAN and everything else like that. So I'll be doing that with separate power supplies and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
so
that works. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then on the top, obviously I'll have light going around the top shelf too. So
gotcha.
Yeah, just playing around with the design. I put this there. I wasn't going to do all black. I wanted to do kind of like color, like that. And I'm still up in the air for the design too. So it's just.
And you've shown a room that has different colors that looks amazing, right? It really does look amazing. But if it wasn't for that light that was in those rooms, that would not look that good. You would be like, oh man, am I in a sane asylum padded wall? No, that's the lighting in those pictures is what makes those colors be really, really acceptable. And they were like 3 different colors of the brown.
Yeah. Let me see. I can share that again.
Yeah. So that's the fine line, you know. It's like, man, you don't want to do an all gray room, right?
Yeah, because that looks like the bottom is black, you know.
But see, the reason they get away with this, if you notice, they have basically green walls, right? So green may be their favorite color, and that's how they're accenting it.
And the ceiling is also black, right?
Yeah.
It's like a
and then
shade.
also on the stair steps, that's the thing. If you're doing like just 2 or 3 colors, you really have to pay attention to the architecture at that point, because
the top of the stairs match the chairs
the
too.
steps have a definition. The lights on the wall are a hue of green that are accenting a green wall. I mean, there's a lot. This is basically what I said that you shouldn't do, but done properly. Right. This is like basically you got 2 colors. Well, no, not really. There's 4 different colors here. There's your taupe.
Well, you got the white too from the light too.
Green. So. Yep. Well, there you go. And the light and you got 2 different lights, right? You got the white light and the turquoise greenish looking light. And that's what pulls it together, you know? So, and that is an art in itself right there. That is an amazing design, right? It's, if you really look at it, there's a lot of complexity in that design, even though there's, 2 colors, well, 3 color, 4 black ceiling. And then,
by the way, this is a Wayne Pomposa design. He's a theater designer. That's who Michael Youthman went over to. What was it? Philippines. Yeah. So he went over. Okay. He went over to.
It's a really good. Yeah, that's a really good design.
He does fantastic designs. I actually priced him just to do an aesthetic design for me.
It is harder to do this simple design like this than going like Star Wars theme or any major theme, because I mean it's so busy. If you love the art or the theme, you're just gonna love it, right?
Dude, if you get your room looking like this, I'm coming over for a week.
Yeah,
I'm stopping to visit.
That better be a pull-out sofa.
I'm watching Sounds of Music, The King and I, and all kinds of movies in.
That's awesome. But yeah, I love that. So, Ahmed, you did all your design and all your acoustic design and stuff like that?
Yep.
You did that all just from, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. You're like me. You probably liked to figure it all out, and now that's why
absolutely.
Like, shoot, I might as well I spent all this time figuring all this out. I might as well start, selling services.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this design of his, man. I mean, it's just crazy how good.
Now that one is. That is a crazy. That one's nice.
Yeah,
that was real nice.
Definitely.
We're
we're friends on Facebook, so I'm not going to share anything else than just this. But he obviously got a company that he designs theaters, plenty of theaters over here in the States. So if you're interested in getting a theater design, I would highly recommend him, because he has got an eye for design 1,000%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So
well, what if you're interested in getting your system tuned? Man, maybe we should do a live
stream calibration setup, right?
Yeah, do your thing, man, right there. Have I pay you to come on next time. That would
Yeah, it would probably take what you said 3-4 hours.
Yeah,
Well,
it
we're
all
on here
depends on
3 hours.
yeah,
You,
it
you,
all
you
depends
do
sort of the complexity.
an hour of that's probably getting set up and ready and making sure they know they have
Yeah,
all
there's some
their
prep work involved, obviously. I mean, to make
yeah.
sure
So
that everything's ready to go for sure. But then, yeah, number of speakers, number of subwoofers, it kind of all determines how many seats we're trying to do.
Yeah. So
One
how
MLP
can
versus one.
people reach out to you so we don't forget that? Obviously, on your website, Expert
Yeah,
Sound
so
Pro.
couple of ways. If you go to expertsoundpro.com, there's a contact us option there. It's got my contact information there, and it has the email too. So there's either a contact form you can fill out, or there's an email there as well, but you can send me a direct email to get in touch with me.
Okay.
nice, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a great
charge
idea
a little
to
bit
do
more though. That's from what I heard so far. You need to charge a little bit, not a whole lot more, but you can charge a little bit more. Like
Yeah, I like I said, just started to kind of put this out there. I wasn't doing this really for the money. I enjoy it. Yeah,
yeah,
it'll help me fund my hobby a little bit.
fair
It's
enough.
not gonna it's
Yep.
not gonna pay my bills.
In that case, yeah. In that case, you're definitely 100% on target for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? I wanna be let people get to experience, like what I'm doing, and the word gets out itself. But that doesn't mean, as you get more and more busy, you start charging more. I think it's fair. But as I said, I'm not trying to make a living out of this. This is not my core
Okay,
income
gotcha.
source.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
just
then that's right. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
It's just like, hey,
yeah.
I'm not. It's kind of like whenever I do family photos, they're like, "Oh man, it's been like 3 weeks." It's like, well, yeah, nobody's paying for me to friggin' post edit these. That's the hard
Yeah,
part.
yeah,
Taking
yeah.
the pictures, the easy part.
No, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
So this is the website here, guys. So
wow,
make sure
that's a nice site you get. That's cool.
Yeah, and then you can obviously look at the services and stuff like that in here.
let's see what we offer here. Full room calibration, equipment recommendations, sub placement. I think you got that covered in your room.
he
Place them
has a
everywhere.
room in his subwoofer.
Place them everywhere.
Yeah, he got a room in his subwoofer, man.
So
Man,
some
that's
before
great.
and after calibrations, very nice. So 10 plus years experience, very good. So yeah, make sure you guys hit up Ray if you would like to have some services done by him. I still can't get over the fact that you need Crosons and near field subs only being 7 feet away from those monsters.
Hey, he admitted he had a problem, so
I
it's
do.
all
I
good.
do.
It's like, hey, you know what? That's
And just to give my buddy Wayne, since I put his design up there, go over here to OTO
Good
RYU
stuff.
Home Cinemas. He does fantastic design. Like I said, this is his Facebook page here. That's the theater that he had on there. But he's got like the Star Wars design, and I mean, just check him out. Also, if you need a theater design, but he's got pictures of builds and everything that they do there. It's just I wish he had a YouTube channel that I could watch step by step of what he's doing on some of these builds. But yeah, it's amazing what he's put together on a lot of these.
wow, that is amazing.
So
Yep.
Well, awesome. All right.
yeah, well, look,
I mean,
again, contact Ray if you need any home theater calibration for for your audio equipment. Do you do any calibration for your video, Ray?
No, because video remotely is almost impossible to do. It's very hard to do. So I have not kind of, and plus to be honest, I'll be very frank, I probably don't have a very good eye for video. Even my picture looks really good to me. And if somebody, when we go into M-Wave and looking at projector comparisons, I'm like, man, they all look good. I don't know what these guys are nitpicking about. so yeah, that is not my forte. So I probably stay away.
I was the guy at the first comparison before M-Wave that I was like, man, I am disappointed how close the $500 projector looks compared to my $4,000 projector. Now, when they paused, the color was off. It was kind of blown out and stuff like that. But, just for like, you could make a home theater with that, without and enjoy it, right? Sure, it's not the best of the best, but it's just like, man, that's watchable. It's watchable. It's not so bad that it's not watchable. You're not projecting your iPhone onto a wall,
right?
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I was just like, wow, it's like, that's really crazy, and then once you get higher up, it's like, it's even less of a difference. It's like, yeah, I can see the clouds. Okay. And that's where, hopefully whenever I get the HD Fury, I'll be able to, hey, I can see the outlines of the clouds and stuff like that. But yeah, I like my theater. And obviously you have the option and you're just like, nah, I'm happy with this. I don't need the rest.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying, especially in audio, on the audio side, people are saying, oh, what's next? And I said, I've gotten to the point where, yes, I can always improve things, but they'll be like, I'm now at a point where I'm going to be incremental changes, right? And the cost of those incremental changes are substantial. They're out of whack, right? So, for example, going to 13 speakers in this room, I can do it, but for that, I have to then upgrade to a processor, right? Change my ABR processor.
Yeah.
And when I'm running those panning tests, I don't hear a gap, right? So it might be an incrementally, better experience, but the cost is a lot more to get there. So diminishing returns is where I am at this point. And video, yeah, I can probably accept that if I had a weak thing, it's probably the video. But people who have JVC projectors or much more expensive projectors and have an eye for video, they've come here and said that's pretty good. What projector are you running? I'm like, it's an Epson 6040 UB, man. It's a very basic projector. But
so have you done Sound Labs SPL measurement in your room and done because man, you and Scott Newbie need to get together and compare.
Yeah, the thing that scares me. Okay, I've done it to. So I had modded my UMIC so I can read it to 130 dB. I've done it to 130 dB, and it feels like my walls are gonna fall or something is gonna happen. But being on a suspended floor, that I'm afraid of pushing it more. That I'll probably crack something. But I've done some compression sweeps, and I was. At 20 hertz, I was at 130 dB with no compression, and after that, the UMIC started clipping. So
and that's loud. Yeah, you have to get a specific mic.
You should have seen this. I was scared. I was really scared.
I think I compress at like 122 or 120, and that's friggin' loud.
Yeah.
The goal is to have your ears working so you can enjoy movies.
So you can enjoy movies.
Not destroy
them.
Yeah. And I think one thing I do tell people, people say, "Oh, this is overkill for this room," and I agree with them. I said, but one thing you have to appreciate, even I don't crack it that loud all the time, but headroom cleans up everything else, right? When you have headroom and nothing is stressed, your amps are not stressed, your speakers are not stressed, the clarity, the cleanliness of the sound, the quality of the sound is so nice. That's why you need the headroom. I mean, you don't have to have all of this stuff to blast it all the time. So I think headroom is very underappreciated. So, but it has sound quality elements to it.
Yeah, you always want to have headroom, so that's...
Yeah,
and that's all relative to your listening volume, right?
Absolutely, that's why you need to understand.
Only listen at 55 dB, then you don't need.
You're never stressing anything.
You don't need 135 dB, subwoofers. It's
Yeah,
no, you're just
I enjoy watching a lot of like old school movies, all those World War II
Yeah, I don't
type
know why you
movies.
even have a surround
I
sound.
don't-
You should just be listening
There's
in
no need
mono.
for me to listen at -10.
dude. The
you
stuff
know,
he listens to is
listen-
friggin' mono, dude.
Yeah, that's what I just said. You
There's
should just
not
be
even
listening in mono.
stereo. Stereo came out 20 years after the.
What are you trying to calibrate then, Ike? What are we calibrating?
He's watching The Sound of Music
Yeah,
upscale.
dude, hi-fi wasn't even a thing. We're talking. This is
He's
voice
upscaling
range.
mono to 2-channel.
Yeah,
Well,
it started off as audio, whatever the stereophonic,
Hey, I'm just doing it for the
dictaphone or
same
whatever you
reason
call that thing.
I'm doing it for the same reason everybody does, the demo tracks. I feel like there are people that have $100,000 home theater and all they listen to is the same 20 demo tracks.
That's so true.
So
That
can I
is
do that with
funny.
my $20,000 theater? So,
You need to incorporate the sonic around the bases thing for your subwoofers. That one for low frequency. Oh man, that thing just resonates through the whole damn house on my. You can physically hear it start at the front and all the way, and then the like 30 feet away, the dryer's vibrating. You're like, God damn. And I don't have anywhere near the power that you're running there.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Very
Well,
good.
look, I gotta go do a 200 question practice test. So
We
Right.
got two quick questions.
Yeah.
we do got some questions. Let me see here.
Yeah.
let's pull the easy one first.
Yeah.
Go ahead, if you-
and I'm
if you
assuming
start
that
it.
yeah.
So I think we talked about this on the last live stream, right? None of us have been able to demo any of these two projectors,
Mhm.
but the
Everybody's
reviews
raving
is
about the
looking like the
Valerian.
Valerians are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
But
saying
here-
they're the real deal. Shane Lee was
Yeah.
on and said it was pretty good.
Yep.
He said it wasn't. He was on with us last week. Said that it was pretty good. Definitely worth the money for
For that price point, it's relatively good. So it depends on what your taste is, what your budget is.
Yep.
But I haven't tried it. I don't think our channels
And
are
I'm
big
of the
enough for
mindset
us to get it in for review. But
I'm gonna wait until it goes
Yeah.
where other people experience it, and you know what, the
Comparison.
savings isn't worth it to me if it's because right now we don't know that it may be. Oh man, I wish I would have bought it day one. and
Well,
saved
I will
those-
say that Joe from
But-
Joe and Tell, he changed out his BenQ. So
yeah,
the
yeah.
Valerian
No,
is now
he
his
is
main
100%
projector.
in on it. He loves it. He's even said, "Oh, why aren't you buying it? You're Epson fanboy." I'm like, "No, I don't need a Valerian. I don't need it.
Right.
yeah,
Like,
so
oh,
yeah, that
I don't need
think-
to because the reality is right now that is a Kickstarter.
Yeah,
And until it's a product, it's a risk.
we don't
I
even
don't
know what
care
the
how much
lifespan
you
is.
believe in the Kickstarter.
Yeah,
It may only be a 0.1% risk, but it's still a risk for your money. It's
Exactly.
Kickstarter.
Yep.
They could literally say, because right now it's 3 days left, 7,500,000. They're wanting to raise 10 million. I don't know if they're going to pull the plug if they don't raise 10 million. I don't know. It's still a risk, but
yeah.
I would say it's less of a risk just because
It
it's
is.
sister company of AWOL,
for me, it's
it
more
is.
about
It is, and I'm sure it's a thing. But it's not worth to me. Hey, this thing might last because there's no magic in this projector.
Yeah,
It's the same
Right.
technology that's been around. So what are they doing to make it?
I think
What are they
it's
doing
the-
to
I
make
think
it
it's
this
I
much?
think it's
cheaper?
the whole price to performance thing. right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, and
everybody
I get it.
that tells you that and I've seen a couple of videos on it, they always tell you with that caveat, right, for the price point. So I think that's
Yeah.
where the whole strength lies is
Yeah,
for maybe a $2,000 or $1,200 or $1,600 projector, you are getting a lot of specs. So if you think that price point is acceptable risk
Yeah.
meaning that you can buy it, and if it breaks in the next 2 years, that's not a lot of money. You're not spending
That's
eight
true.
grand, right?
Yeah.
If
I mean, if
stuff-
that
yeah.
thing, if you would guarantee me that thing would last 5 years, but I'd also have to see it, right?
Yeah. So, and I think there's a huge difference between, those of us on YouTube telling you versus when it starts to get into the hands of the average consumer. Because
Yeah.
those are the people who will really put it through the rugged
Because
test.
even me, Joe asked me, well, oh, why are you so against it? I'm like, well, I looked at the BenQ. The BenQ's sharper than my Epson. And as far as the situation that I was in, the black levels were equally comparable, but it wasn't worth spending any money to get that little bit of extra sharpness. I'm like, I'm already enjoying what I have. I don't like, yeah, that's better. I'm not saying mine's not.
Yeah, I don't
that's
see
better,
why
but
I don't
it's
see
not better
why.
for an additional any money. I'm like, it's not that much of a difference.
Yeah, I don't see why you would replace like an Epson 60 or 50 or 5040 or
Now, if
anything
it
with
was
this.
my
That makes no
150-inch
sense to me.
screen
Yeah.
and it looked like an OLED, then I'd be like, dude, take my fucking money right now. I would have already had a BenQ. If it literally was the same as an OLED, I would be like, dude, I'm throwing this thing. Like, I'm selling this tomorrow. But it's just not that much of a difference.
But look, if it's really a great projector, I think that's good for the consumer, right? For that price point.
Yeah.
But if you are looking to buy your first projector, I wouldn't gamble it. I'll go on the used market and find a different known brand, But if you have a spare room or something,
we don't know how the warranty is. We don't know.
They're saying that new Ultra Throw Hisense, what is it, the PX3, or they're saying that's phenomenal too.
If a shot throw fits
for
your
around
use
the
case,
same
right?
price,
if a shot throw fits your use case,
and that might even be the better option,
so that might be a better option for about the same price point. So it just depends on your use case, but
and
we haven't
unless you
tried
see
it,
them,
it's gonna be hard to tell.
And unless you see them, I mean, it's really hard to judge, like which one's which. But projector's a projector. If it's it doesn't, like I said, I went to that comparison and I was the guy that was like, wow, this $500 projector it's usable. It's like, wow, it's not like, anyone can tell, okay, this is the cheaper one, right? Like you could tell, but it wasn't like, oh, I can tell this is $4,000 more than this one. No, it wasn't that much of a difference. You could easily tell it was, but I was just like, damn. I was like, wow, but
so the next question we got is about the SVS PB17. We a couple weeks back we had with Taurus on. He purchased 2 of those.
Yep.
And he said they were really, really good. I've not had a chance to hear it myself. And then also Shane Lee also has one in for review right now. So make sure you guys check out his channel to see his review
SVS
once he's
makes
done with that.
really good speakers. I mean, they're good, but people are like, going out of their way to go from the 16
to the
17. Yeah. It depends on what you already have.
They're saying the 17 digs a lot lower.
So it depends on what you have, what you're thinking of moving from. If you don't have any, and if you have PV2000 like I do, then that's a perfect upgrade.
So let's talk to the calibrator. Have you calibrated any of these new subs yet, and what have you seen?
No, I haven't, but I've done the PB16. I think the question always comes down on the SVS is, okay, relative to what, right? So SVS, definitely top-notch customer service, solid product, right? And that's what it is. But I think where they don't get a lot of love is, okay, for that much money, what else can you get, right? When you start getting into that question, you might have to forego some other elements, which is the aesthetics maybe, or the prompt customer service, warranty and that kind of stuff. But it's a solid sub. I mean, they're bulletproof, right? They're maybe idiot proof. I call them, right? They're the way they do the DSP, etc. So
Yeah.
it's a good sub. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and you can. I don't think you would ever go wrong going with an SVS.
Yeah.
But there are options within $500-600 which would be a step up in performance. But then yes, you're looking at ID subs, right? And not at an established company as a or service as a SVS has. It's about priorities.
And some of them may not look as good as the SVS, right?
Exactly,
So,
aesthetics.
aesthetics and things like that.
Yeah, they have a nice looking finish on some of them.
Yeah,
Yep,
once you get
absolutely.
within that $500-600 price point, then you have to start looking at those other things, right? Does it look good? You know,
Yeah, you have to look at your priorities, right?
Is it dummy proof, like you said, the way they have the whole, the size of it?
It's like, hey, am I looking for? Sure, you can get a 8-inch subwoofer that'll be as much as a 24-inch, but that's going to be a $30,000 subwoofer. Because you're going to have to put a whole lot of power into that thing to make that actually work.
Yeah,
ain't nobody doing that.
I mean, except you're hiding your subs, right? You got to think about it. You're going to be looking at those things every day.
Yep.
You know, which I love a lot of DIY subs, but sometimes I'm like, it sounds really good, but I don't want to look at that thing every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it in my room. You know, so yeah.
Let's look at the universal remote. So this is the ongoing question for quite some time since Harmony decided to back out of making a remote. So look, I mean, I don't know what to suggest here, just because I know of a lot of people that have the Ava remote, but I've not seen a lot of reviews, which means to me that, and I'm just making an assumption here, that it might have some kinks to work out, because if that thing were just ready to go, I think we would have seen videos, unless they're under an embargo. Seen videos of a flourishing of this remote.
Yeah, here's the problem, and I don't know which remote manufacturer is what they're trying to do. So nowadays things have shifted to, hey, I need my intellectual property, and I need it in my bubble, right? The reason the Harmony was so successful, that was open source. Basically, it started out as, hey, we're fully open source. If you want to program, you could program. I could have a device that was a no-name brand. I could have a, whatever. I could have a, I could have this, whatever the heck this is. Oh, hey, this is a Phantom Blu-ray player. No one's ever even heard of it, right? But it came with a remote. I could sit there and, tell it, instruct it into the Harmony, get all the IR codes, label them. If I was this person to, pay back to the community and label all the, okay, I'm hitting the volume up, I'm hitting the volume down, etc. And then post that. And then Harmony would take that, package that as, oh, hey, you want the Phantom, chocolate porter DVD player? Boom, here you go. And then people could just add it. That's what made that so successful. People forget that. Sure, it became a full-blown product, but at the beginning, it was so open community. The community was programming it for them. They're not doing that now. Now, sure, they made some interfaces and they brought it into their, into their infrastructure on their web. But that's the only hard thing that they did. But as soon as you build a good enough sandbox, you can just grab another pail and fill it with sand and dump it into your sandbox.
Yeah.
That all these other people are trying to be so intellectual, bubbled, they'll never succeed. They will not even get close. Some of them are doing good. They're doing really good, but you're not going to sell 1 million of something that is
completely closed.
Yep. If otherwise, you might as well, be Control 4, where, hey, I'm paying thousands of dollars for someone to do.
Well, now they're even charging $250 a year for everyone, right? For Control 4. So that's a membership fee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That, and that scenario, and that's why, that's your options, where until someone comes up and out with an open source, hey, this is our thing. You buy our device and you can program it and do whatever you want with all the interfaces, and that's a tough sell. It is, I get it. But at the time, Logitech had the, money to spare, right? They were doing it I think they were doing it for other things, for their business. That I don't think behind the scenes, and I may be totally wrong about this, I don't think that they necessarily put this as a consumer, control your home theater thing. It was more of, hey, we got 1,000 conference rooms type of deal, and they all have different friggin' equipment in it and blah, blah, blah. So, hey, let's just put this out and everybody will be able to, program it for us or do all the labor work for all the stuff. And then we'll just drag and drop all the labels in there and boop.
Yeah.
And everybody was happy, But unfortunately, it's not how it is now. So it's tough. It's tough. So
Ike, what do we decide for next week? Thanksgiving. We're going to do Wednesday, correct?
We can do Wednesday, or do you want to do Friday?
It's still up in the air, so let's look. Guys, just look for
Friday.
The.
If it's evening, I guess I could, but Friday's cheapskate.
Yeah, it's gonna be evening, and it will also blend in with Black Friday, right? With all the sales, and we can talk about all the fun stuff out there. And so it depends,
We
can
do
take
it
that
Friday. I
offline.
may not be on because my wife may want. It's her birthday, so we're talking about.
Yeah, that rules out Friday.
That right now. Yeah, like gosh,
That rules out Friday. I'm not getting in trouble because you want to get in trouble.
I know. I don't
No. Her birthday's Wednesday, but we're talking about going out of town, so I'll probably go. So I don't know. I'm still up in the air. So either way, whatever you guys decide, I may drop in, may not. But
right.
just keep an eye out for the post. Ike will hopefully get it out before the day before. I can't complain because Ike does this every week for us, so I really appreciate that he does, because I don't have the time to do it. But look, everyone, we really appreciate you watching the show tonight. Ray, thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you guys do need calibration, audio calibration, reach out to Ray at expertsoundpro.com. I'm still striving to get to 1,000 subscribers, so I would definitely appreciate your help getting me there. So please
subscribe.
Please like, share, and subscribe. And then, as always, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. Also, in the comments, we recently just switched over to StreamYard. So we're testing out different streaming stuff. So we were able to stream in 4K. I don't know that you want to see my ugly face in 4K anyway. StreamYard only allows us to do 1080p. So give us some comments whether you like the new platform or not. But once again, thank you, everyone. And if I don't see you next week, have a great holiday.
Yep,
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
On the mat, don't hang up. So just stay on in the green room.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, later.
See you guys.